all good?
Yeah, I've been selling masks, so it's been a little busy. So.
Oh, really? Is that what your company's kind of shifted to?
Well, right now, yeah, I did about 10,000 worth today.
Wow.
Well, 10,000 of them.
Yeah.
So
That's a good thing, though, man. I saw what Cascade's doing too. They kind of pivoted as well, you know.
Yeah, but their problem is that they won't. There's an issue with that because they won't allow them to sell a certain amount per day. So it's kind of tough on them, you know.
Right.
So who's the two guys just sitting there in the beanbags? They look like they're lounging.
So we have all 8th graders except those two little knuckleheads. That's a 5th grader and a 3rd grader that joined us as well. But everybody else is going to be 8th grade.
Isaac's got the ceiling. He looks good.
Hey, what's up, Isaac?
Good garage door opener. Well done on the spackle on the roof there.
Sure, that was all him.
Randy's texting his buddies.
That's everybody's got to update their name. That's Randy. That's his dad. His name's Tyler up there. Let's see if we can change it for him.
I'll just say, what's your name? It's that simple.
Yeah, Scott, you can manually change names, I think, if you want.
Yeah.
That's way too advanced for me.
So, hey, guys, a real quick intro. We got Ric Beardsley on here, and he is he's a lacrosse junkie. He's been in lacrosse for forever. Was a stud All-American at Syracuse, probably in the mid-'90s. Is that right?
Early to mid-'90s. Yep.
Early mid-'90s, 4-time All-American. Played a little bit of pro ball when you graduated, right? Indoor and outdoor.
It was later in my career. I played in the NLL. I played 8 years in the NLL, primarily as a fighter, guys. These knuckles landed on a lot of people. Coming from my days at Syracuse. But yep, yep. So far, that's been the pros. Yep.
And now he's coaching up in Syracuse area, right?
I coach CBA in Syracuse, and I'm an Under Armour All-American coach as well, and I am a defensive coordinator for the Atlas.
Atlas, go Bulls, right?
Yep. So I get to, while all these guys are looking at these guys, I get to go on text messages and these Zoom type of meetings with them twice a week just to say hello.
That's very cool. So, hey, man, I truly appreciate you jumping on. I figured if you can give us, 15 minutes, what I kind of want, your guidance on is these are all 8th graders on here for the most part, and they're getting ready to go to high school. End of the day, they'll feed 4 different high schools. Most of them will go to Morris Knowles, which is in Denville.
Oh, it is. Yep.
Some will go to Morris Hills, including my little guy right here, Connor. And then Ryan Jevick. Are you on? Ryan Jevick's going to Mountain Lakes. And then we have another guy who's not on here is going to Del Barton. So we're feeding a bunch of different high schools. All these guys are probably playing in high school.
Yeah.
Which is our hope. And really just wanted to get a sense of, hey, your background. Let them hear from a guy that knows lacrosse inside and out. And then also give them some tips on what they can be doing to kind of succeed in high school,
Thanks very much. Guys, first of all, I know it's crazy times. You're all getting cabin fever. I myself am a very high-strung, intense human. So for me, I'm losing my mind every day. And I have a daughter who actually is in your grade, who actually turns 14 today, who has been home and does play lacrosse. And my youngest daughter, Angela, plays lacrosse. But to go back and go on what Coach said, to give you a little bit of background on myself, I grew up across the river in Westchester County. I went to Lakeland High School in Yorktown. I went off to Syracuse. I was the Lacrosse Magazine Player of the Year. When I was a senior in high school, I was the #1 rated defenseman in the nation in high school my junior year and my senior year. I went to Syracuse. I started as a freshman. I never didn't start. Only game I missed and never started was my sister's wedding, which was in Teaneck, New Jersey. And I've lived in New Jersey where you guys are for many years and coached Fairleigh Dickinson, but that's later in the story. I was a 2-time high school All-American, a 4-time All-County defenseman. I got full scholarships pretty much to every top 10 school. In my year, I got lucky. Guys needed defensemen. So I was able to kind of parlay that into a full scholarship at Syracuse. I was a captain and a world champion on the U19 team. And then I became a 4-time All-American at Syracuse. And to put that into context with you guys, you're looking at like, who's this old guy? He's not cool. He's not cool like John Galloway. He's not cool like Kyle Hartzell. If I took my shirt off, people would run for the hills. I'm not ripped like those guys anymore. But to put it into context, there's 9 4-time All-American defensemen in the history of college lacrosse, and I'm one of them. So, like, to me, that's my proudest stat. And then from that point, I played multiple years in the pros, multiple years in the club leagues. I was an ESPN analyst, ACC this past year for the 3rd year in a row. I did 3 of those games that you probably watched Syracuse play. I was that guy with the bad accent and all the annoying analogies. And then I coached my high school team, and I won a state championship in New York in 5 years. We had a losing record.
And we got one guy kissing up to you. You see with the Syracuse.
He knows. And I had won, in a quick time, we turned it around. And it's not because of me, guys. This is where the story starts to become not about me. You'll find a lot of guys that have had accolades like mine will really want to talk about themselves all the time. If you want to know the truth, I get sick of talking about myself. I absolutely do. I get tired of hearing my name on, I have a radio show on ESPN here in Syracuse. I get tired of it. Because the truth is, the reason why I'm winning now is because of others. And my biggest thing that I try to do, even with your generation, right? I'm a 46-year-old guy. I try to identify with the things that you guys do. And I also would never make someone do something that I can't. Now, I may not be able to do a footwork ladder as quick as you guys, but I can do a footwork ladder. I may not be able to do a 100-yard sprint as quick as you guys, but I'll do it. Where I've learned to focus is on you guys. I've won those championships, and I've won all my championships, which I have 2 national championships, by the way, and I should have 4, to be honest with you. And that's not being arrogant. I won them because I had great teammates around me. And, you'll hear your coaches say, oh, this is so cliche. Boys, I'm not one of those cliche guys. I'm just a very straightforward. You can Google anything about me. You can ask anybody who knows me. I know all your high school coaches. I've done business with half of them. I know I used to do clinics. When I lived in New Jersey, I did clinics for Mountain Lakes when I was first out of school. And that was when New Jersey lacrosse, by the way, guys, was awful. The best lacrosse player in the state of New Jersey back when I played in 1995 was a 3rd-line midi at Maryland. And that's #gross if you're a 3rd-line midi at Maryland, in my opinion. That's just how I think. Now, that being said, my teammates have created the opportunities for myself. I played with a lot of great players, and we all pushed each other. So, like, the big thing that I always see now and why we've won at CBA as much as we have is that we've pushed – one teammate pushes another, then the other one pushes and pushes and pushes, and then coaching becomes easy. But you have to understand that if, lacrosse can be your outlet to anything you have going on. You could have an issue with your girlfriend. You could have an issue at home. You could have an issue in school. You could have, you're not feeling well. You're not in a good mood. You're angry or you're quiet. My oldest daughter, Angela, whose birthday is today, she's really, really, really a quiet person. And when she plays, she's misunderstood because she's so quiet. She's a legit baller. I'm not going to lie to you, boys. I don't think there's anybody on this Zoom that's better than my kid. She's that legit. All right. She shoots 80 miles an hour with her left hand, and she's and about 78 with her 77 with her righty. She's a straight stud. But that being said, it's really about being able to push each other. When you get to that point, how you doing? Like those sunglasses, they look good. Yeah, there she is. All right. But what I've learned is, be a leader. And I encourage all my guys to be leaders. When you have the ball in your stick, you own the game. I think the biggest thing that I've done throughout my career was empower my teammates around me to command me when I needed to be commanded, and I empowered myself to command them when they needed it. Now, as a coach, you know, a lot of guys, don't be robotic. I hate being robotic. You know, so my guys, we play very intense. We play up and down. To give you an example of how quick we've gotten the program up, my first midfield is Duke, Furman, Fairfield, and I got a third one. A fourth one. He'll go wherever he wants. He's only a sophomore. My attack is at University of Indianapolis, which is a top 10 D2 program. Lemoyne, which obviously we know is top 2 in D2, and Canisius, and that's a Division I program. My long stick is going to Binghamton. He will be decommitting and probably going to one of the ACC schools within the next couple of weeks.
How's it playing defense for you under your guidance?
It is awesome to play defense for me. You want to know why? Because I do takeaway check Wednesday. We shut off. We do all the things. I create chaos, and I try to take my matchups. So like you guys that are middies, you know, you often run off the field. You know, my best middies stay on the field. I don't care. On defense, if I have a kid who's better than a person as an athlete, he stays on. I want him to strip guys and create chaos. I want, you know, my goal is to score 18 goals a game in high school and give up 11, which is odd for a guy to hear when you're a defensive guy. But, you know, again, the reason why we've been able to do this is because they've trusted me after a while. And that's what I talked about in the beginning, is the dependency, having the ability to have good people around you. And you have to trust the dude literally on this screen to your right and left, or you're not going to succeed getting seen by a college. See, this is what college coaches look for when they go for recruiting. I've placed a lot of guys into college in my day, well over 300 guys in my career, okay? If you don't trust the guy to your right or your left, you're not going to be successful. The coaches look at your high school, your club, your youth. They look at how you are with those players that are less than you. So if you have a player that's less than you, don't devalue what he does. Value the good things he does and help try to get the thing he does wrong better. And you do it in a way of not with rolling your eyes in frustration, but doing it in a way that you make him better by being good to him. Now, that being said, I yell and scream and am a complete maniac when I coach, because my intensity goes from here to well off the charts. And I don't hold back at all on a soul, because I'll be honest with you, if you're soft, you can't play for me. And what I mean by soft is if you can't handle being yelled at. Now, there's different ways you get yelled at. You know, some guys you talk to, some guys you give it to them in a huddle, some guys you yell and scream across the way. But on the flip side, where I'm talking about having Mason Blood, that's the sickest name ever. I can't lie.
By the way, that's a long pole right there, of course.
I love it. That kid should just be recruited just for his name. Yeah, there you are, Mace. Mace, you should just be, your nickname should be Rambo. Call you Mason First Blood. But, you know, guys, you have to learn to depend on everybody around you. And in the pros, I'm going to give you a story. I get the job at the Atlas, and I'm the guy, as you can tell, with the big personality. We'll call the guys. I meddle. I knew about Rob Pennell coming to the PLL before anyone else did, because I just called him on his cell. And meanwhile, some people will say you can't do that. I don't really care, because I wanted to do it. And I've known Rob since he was in high school. But I went out, and the first thing I said was, guys, how did we not win with all these great players? With Paul Rabel, with Ryan Brown, one of the best shooters in the PLL, with that defense of Tucker Durkin, with Jack Kincannon. How did we not win? They simply said, we had no guidance, coach. And this is what I'm talking about. How you get guidance is that was insulting to me. It wasn't because your coach does it all. You should come together as players. Okay? This is a life lesson. These guys they're adults. They wanted to be coached, which is awesome. But the big thing I saw, which was extremely disconcerting or disappointing to me was that they wouldn't break that barrier without the guy at the top. Does that make sense, guys? Right? Break the barrier with the guy at the top. You have to be a leader. Whether you're not a leader or not, you think, you are a leader. When you have the ball in your stick, whether you're a defenseman, a goalie, the 8th midi on your team, so what? Guess who is a leader then? You are. And you can be a great teammate. The reason why we've won in my days is because we got along the best. We depended on each other, fellas. That's the biggest thing. You know, like I said to you in the beginning, if you're quiet, if you're mean, if you're angry, it doesn't matter. Your teammates can make your life great. You shouldn't be trying to go into any practice and dislike the guy to your left or right. You should want to look at the positives that he does. You know what? I have a lacrosse player in my program. His name's Pat Kraft. He's the grossest lacrosse player I've ever had in 8 years. There's not a human in this chat, including put it this way, right there, the fan behind you, I don't know who that is right over here, but the fan behind Brendan, okay, that fan has more talent than Pat Kraft. That's how pitiful he is. It's like gross. It's embarrassing. But that being said, you know what Crafty does for us? And he's valued and the kids go crazy. And I'm telling Crafty sings our national anthem. How about that one? So Crafty's got a value on the team that's important to us. Real important.
How you been staying in touch with your kids on your team?
We're text because Zoom has an issue with liability apparently. You know.
For the high school teams?
Yeah, for at least for my program. But I keep in touch. My guys do. They report in with their workouts. They do whatever they can. But real quick, guys, just to finish up, I know I don't want to lose you and be that guy. I know you're staring at this old guy wondering what the hell is an old guy talking to me about. But rely on your teammates, man, because even the pros don't know how to do that. And imagine what the greats can do, right? The best teammate I ever had was Casey Powell. You all know who he is, right? He's a great teammate.
Yeah, he's
one of the best ever. Casey Powell was a great teammate, even when he was a freshman. And he got a world of shit from us. Let me tell you. He was this, we're seniors, we're defensemen, All-Americans. We shredded that poor kid for years, but he was the best teammate. And he was that good. So if the greats can be great teammates, why can't everybody else? But that's my spiel, guys. Depend on each other. That's what I would do.
That's awesome, man. Hey, any of you guys have any questions for Coach Rick?
You can't even be like, yo, Coach Rick, you ever throw 80-yard behind the back pass and get 173,000 views on whatever Squad Locker, whatever the hell it was? Hey, Coach, you got any tips of what we could be doing at home?
That's a good one.
You know what I would be doing, boys? Perfecting a footwork ladder. Because efficient feet is where it's at for every position. And you guys watch videos on YouTube, watch them of cornerbacks and receivers. Why do receivers run patterns in the NFL 1,000 times? They want to run a perfect pattern. Why aren't we doing the perfect dodge? Why aren't we defending the perfect dodge? That's all footwork, guys. I tell all my defense, by the way, with the PLL Atlas, they report to this old guy once a week with their workouts. And if they don't, I pick up the phone and I give them a tongue lash. Because I don't care how good they are, they're not as good as I was. As much as you may think I'm arrogant for that statement, I got more honors than pretty much everybody on that team, especially the guys on defense. So, I bring that little bit of intensity and guys, I would be working on your footwork ladder. I would be working on, your shooting, right? If you're a defenseman, work on your shooting. That's the best way to get your stick. If you're an offensive guy, shoot from sitting on your butt in your yard. Like a good drill I do with guys is they just sit down and they shoot from their butt. uses all your torso.
That's a nice thing about YouTube now. There's so many videos out there on Instagram and, that you can find drills to do to keep you busy,
Yeah, absolutely. What else, guys? Ask me a question. Go ahead.
We're going to throw somebody on the spot here. Who are we going to throw on the spot? I think Patty, since it's your brother's birthday, we're going to throw you on the spot.
All right. I'm an Atlas fan. So what's the best part about coaching the Atlas?
Right now, the best part is there are a lot of good guys. There's just a lot of fun guys. When I was on my last Zoom, the things that were said had me in stitches, Patrick, honestly, for like an hour. Just Scotty Rogers sitting poolside, shirtless, with a glass of wine, chirping at people was worth $1 million. Or James Pinnell and Rob Pinnell in the same screen and realizing they're totally two different people. Rob Pinnell is, very Rob Pinnell. James Pinnell is the type of guy that, he doesn't care if he jumps in a pool naked and it's on video. But that, to me, the best part about those guys is the potential they have and how good they are. Like, for some unknown reason, Pat, Paul Rabel likes me. I don't know why he likes me so much. I often laugh because I break his chops so much about like, hey, I saw you shoot today. You strung 20 corners. Sick. How about your footwork drills? You gonna play D? And he's just like, he doesn't know what to say. That's why I love the group so much. And I'm just an assistant, which is awesome. I get to be that guy that gets to have fun with such good players. And just so you know, Patrick, I've never seen a bunch of guys who are so big. They're humongous. I'm not a tall guy, but my goodness, I'm a dwarf compared to those midfielders alone. So, yeah, we appreciate you being a fan. We really do. And the season will hopefully kick off sooner or later, Pat. But, when you come to a game, you better make sure you're not a stranger.
All right. Sounds good.
Hey, wow, Will and Tucker pulled that one up. That's old school, man. Jeez.
Wow, look at that.
That's my friend. I think that was, 93? 93? That's old, man.
Anybody else, guys? Rick's he's been on with 25 minutes, so let's get another question and then we'll let him go. Anybody else?
Follow me. I got nothing. I just got to go home to a birthday party.
What about Mason? Mason Blood. You got a call out before. What do you got for Coach Rick?
So you said, what would be the best thing to do for a defender?
Yeah, best thing is there's really two things I stress. I do clinics here in Syracuse, 20 weeks worth of them, and it's hundreds of reps of footwork and approaches and patterns. Now, what I mean by that, the two things I would get, honestly, I'm really about efficient feet. So footwork is huge to me. Mason, I was awful on a footwork ladder back in the day. I'm still kind of awful. But what I did was I started to watch, I would write in YouTube, Alabama linebacker drills. And I took and watched their footwork. And people talked about footwork drills. Then I went into footwork drills, like cornerback footwork drills, linebacker footwork drills, right on this computer I'm working on, in between doing sales calls. And I watched why linebackers and guys that big were so good is their feet were elite. Like go and watch Alabama's linebackers drill and watch them just do a back pedal. They do a thing called a wave drill, and it's a back pedal where you don't go in diagonals, you wave, get smooth in your hips. You know how many people have trouble with that? Those are 260-pound people with just so fluid. So there's a reason why they're going to make millions of dollars in the NFL. Okay, it's pretty simple. There's a reason. And on top of that, I'm a huge guy that does patterns. I make defensemen practice patterns because any of you offensive guys, when you go to a drill and do a clinic, you know, middies, they do an alley dodge and shoot. They split here, they go down the alley and shoot. Well, as defensemen, what do? We stand there and do poke check drills, right? I actually make my defenders open their hips up, go down the alley, and defend a rollback. So they get muscle memory and proper technique in defending that. From behind, you know, a guy may come at you. This is like, you know, here's the goal, right? This is the back where behind the goal here. Attackman, you come at a guy and go like this, there, and there. Or you do a finalizer, right? Then you go to a question mark. Well, I defend those moves. So we're cones. And I also do it to where I don't ever give choices. See, the best thing you can do, Mason, and any defenseman, is not give an offensive player a choice. Meaning you're either going right or you're going to your left. And it doesn't matter. I'm not reacting to you anymore. You're reacting to me. Because we have to be reactive people, right, Mace? We got to react all the time. We're going crazy. Why do we bother? Just say, dude, you want to go right? Go to the right. I know you're going to the right. Then I cut you off and take that away. Or take a guy and cut his body in half and make him play to his weak hand. I do a lot of those things. I'm all about taking away strengths and playing to my strengths to kind of create 2 negatives for them and a positive and 2 positives for me. So that's what I would do, would be practice patterns and practice footwork. And I watch a shit ton of videos, guys. I am a huge lax rat. Coach is not kidding. I am a huge lax rat. I was not kidding when I tell you that I do know people in your program. I did coach around the corner at Fairleigh Dickinson. I do know your area. I know I do clinics all over. Heck, I'm doing one online next week with Marcus Holman. I got to do one of these video things for defensemen. So I'm doing one so like I do these things. So guess what, Mason Blood, I'm going to remember you when you all of a sudden are playing in high school and then Harvard calls me like they did the other day asking for 22s, right? Or John Torpy from High Point called me looking for one of my attackman's phone numbers that he wants to have transfers in a transfer. Like I'm in it. Like, so I know the area, I know what's going on because I live and breathe it, fellas. That's big for me. You know, it's big. This sport's a big part of my life. It isn't who I am. It's what I do.
That's good stuff, man. We appreciate it. I think we're running out of time because Zoom's going to kick us off.
Yep.
But hey, one quick thing for all you guys. So you guys know all your uniforms that we have, those black uniforms. Rick is the one who designed them and got them to us. So
you'll have better ones. Don't worry, that coming up with a different company, they'll be nicer and they'll be lighter, and we'll do it all better.
Hey, Rick, we're going to send you a Renegade sweatshirt, though, just for our appreciation for you coming on.
It's Renegade. Is that how I do it?
That's it.
Yeah. Oh, look at those moves, boy. Don't robot. Yeah. You don't hate it. Don't hate the player. Hate the game.
Hey, thank you, Rick. We appreciate it, man. You stay good. Stay safe.
All right, stay safe, will you? In the dirty jerseys. I love it.
All right. Take care, man.
Word.
Thank you.